Hey there, Danny here. Welcome to my ramblings. I hope you've had a good couple of days. Tonight, I want to share with you. I do a lot of talking about toxic relationships because I've been in them. um, and the one thing that I learned, the biggest lesson that I learned from being in toxic relationships was how to depend on myself. So I don't know if everybody else does this, but when I was married or in a long-term commitment, when something good or bad happened to me, the person that you're with is supposed to not just be your lover, they're supposed to be your best friend too. So anything that good or bad that would happen to me, I would want to share with them. So I'd share it all with them. And in the beginning, they seemed like they cared. And then as time went on, they didn't care. And so I realized that I needed to do something else, that I couldn't go to them with my good and bad things, because if I went bad things, they would pretty much just tell me that I was being stupid. And if I went with good things, like I'll use a scenario when I was in college and I was making all kinds of friends. My college friends, I didn't go to college until I was like 32. When my kids went to junior high is when I started college. And the funny part is I made lots of friends in college. I really loved college. I was good at it. I was in the top of my class. It was pretty much when I discovered that I was really, really smart, that I loved being a nerd. And the funny part is all my classmates called me the nerd, and I took it and wore it as a badge of honor. But I would came home one night. My friends in college were the ones that made me realize that my second marriage wasn't healthy or normal, because I would share. I remember one time, I don't remember what the story was that I shared with them, but I shared a story with them, and they all looked at me with these shocked look on their faces and said, "You do know that that's not normal?" And I'm like, "What?" And so they explained it to me. Well, I had gone home and decided that a true marriage, a true relationship, you're supposed to be able to have conversations about hard topics and everything with your significant other. So I went home and I processed it for a day or two. And then I sat down with the ex-husband. We were married at the time. And I said, this has been brought to my attention. I kind of want to have a conversation about it. And he didn't respond to the conversation I wanted to have. He literally looked at me and told me that none of them were my friends. They were just pretending to be my friends. And none of them really liked me because I'm not a likable person. And the minute he said that, I stopped having any of the conversation with him. I was done. You're not looking out for my best interest. You're just trying to keep me away from people that are going to tell me what's good for my best interest. And because I knew these people, I didn't know them very long, but we studied together. We were learning and growing together. We were getting to know each other as we were in college. And there was bonds forming that were very healthy. First time in my whole life that I had when I went to college was really the first time in my whole life that I had really had healthy friendships and healthy interactions. And it was amazing. And I knew that he was full of shit. There's no way that these people, no, they wouldn't have said, all of them wouldn't have had the same fucking look and then said what they said to me. And the hardest lesson that I had to learn dealing with that stuff was that you can't depend on somebody else. You can't tell them all your good and bad. And once I was with somebody and I would share my good and bad with them because I'm in a relationship. That's what I'm supposed to be able to do. And so is the other person. And even if you were to share something that was strange or odd, the other person shouldn't be shocked about it. They should be understanding and trying to understand the situation. They should be working with you, not against you. And what I learned, the biggest lesson that I learned out of all of it was to just not share those things with them. And then after I made my friends in college and I graduated and I started working, I started making friends in my jobs. And a lot of them I still have as friends today. But the one thing that I realized was I couldn't share things with the men that I was with. They either didn't understand or they did and they just didn't care. But I started to realize when I got into college that I'm not in healthy relationships. I'm not in relationships where people, where they have my back, but I have their back. And I realized that I was a giver and they were a taker. And, like I tell everybody is if you have the same type of repeated relationships, there's one common denominator and it's you. Figure out what's broken in you, fix that, and then you don't ever have to be in toxic relationships again. And I can say that in 2020, I started on this path, and I have had, in the beginning when I started this journey, I had my 2 sons, and I adore my sons because I taught them as they were growing up that I don't want sugar-coated shit. If you see that I'm going down a wrong path or I'm doing something wrong, be honest with me. Be kind and gentle, but be honest with me. Do not sugarcoat anything or talk in code. Just be real and honest. And my sons will. They will tell me, even if they're not afraid to hurt my feelings if it means that it's for my best interest. And that, to me, is true honesty that I give to my friends and my family, and I expect them to give that to me too. So my sons gave me that, and then my bestie Jen, we both came from some pretty fucked up mothers. That's kind of how we bonded, and we've grown over the years. I met her in May of 2007. So, oh my God, it's almost 19 years we've known each other. We're old, Jen. Anyways, we grew together and we were each other's, we could be brutally honest with each other. We like to call it playing devil's advocate. So if one of us is heading down the wrong path or whatever, or we're thinking on a bad toxic track, the other one will be brutally honest with each other, but not in like a mean, cruel way. And so we're a little bit more open with each other about things that we wouldn't be open with other people, only because we both know where we came from. So if you don't come from a manipulative, narcissistic parent, you are not going to understand somebody who's telling you things that has come from that, because their mind works totally different. It has to. It was survival for them as a child. And so when we're raised by that, we don't want sugarcoating. We don't want the fakeness because we grew up in nothing but fakeness. We watched our mothers in public and around people be one way, and then behind closed doors, totally different, and willing to screw people over. That they claimed were their friends and people they loved, and it was confusing as a child. So her and I don't sugarcoat things with each other. We will be brutally honest. And I think the major thing that bonds us is the fact that we do not have to fear the other one's going to judge us for anything. Even if what we're going to say sounds totally out there, we know that the other one would never judge us on that. And these 3 relationships are what has really helped me through the last 6 years of this journey. And what I realized was that I was giving too much to men who didn't have my best interest at heart and really didn't care. They seemed more happy when I had bad things happen, and they never celebrated the good things with me. Which I felt was odd, but I thought it was normal. I didn't know any different. And I can tell you, starting on this journey, being a delivery driver, you meet a lot of people. You meet a lot of other delivery drivers. Like I said, you don't see them all the time because you're not always in the same place. You're all over. I'm all over the west side over here. Excuse me, in the Phoenix area. Anyways, I can tell you that I've met a few people, and I'm going to say men in particular. Not that I have a relationship with these men, but both of these two men have, and they're younger, but both of these two men have shown me, truly what it feels like to be seen by a man that is not my child. And I have appreciated so much. So I just want to shout out to my Josh and my Fred, because both of you have restored my faith in men. And I appreciate both of you more than words could ever say, because you two have restored my faith in being able to trust men again. And I'm forever grateful to both of you for it. But I wanted to share with everybody here, the big important thing is when you're in a toxic relationship, you have been going to this person for your good and your bad stuff. You want to share everything with them. You can't. The more you share with them, the more they use it to trap you and keep you stuck there. So if you start to notice that they're not being supportive when something bad happens, or they're not being celebratory when something good happens, then know for a fact that that man or woman, because it could be men or women, are both vindictive and manipulative and controlling nowadays. You can't really put a sex on it. But if they are not being they're not being supportive and celebratory with you on your good stuff, that person is not. They are a toxic person that does not have your best interest at heart. And the way to stop them from getting any more, they hurt you based off of what you tell them. So if you bite your tongue and you stop telling them anything, the good or the bad, just leave it as totally neutral. How's your day? Fine. You can say good. Don't go into detail. They didn't ask you for your detail, but the old you used to give your detail. When you want to take your power and control back and get right in your mind so you can get away from the vindictive, manipulative, controlling people in your life, the toxic people, you just don't give them your information because they don't celebrate. They don't want to hear it to celebrate it or support you. They literally only want to hear it so they have more stuff to try to use against you to make you, because misery loves company. And anybody who's manipulative, controlling, or vindictive is a miserable human being. And they want you in their company. They want you just as miserable as they are. So if you stop giving them your good and your bad things that happen to you in life, it really irritates them. It weeds them out, because the truth is, then they have nothing. They can't talk about you behind your back because they don't know nothing about you. And they can't, and even if they do, it's all made up. So what do you care? Go watch my video about people talking behind your back and gossiping. Gossipers is, I think it's called. Anyways, the truth is they don't have anything. And you just learned how to protect yourself. Now, the biggest part about learning to not share those things and to just be as vanilla as possible it really helps to have somebody that you can talk to and who will be supportive and celebratory with you. So if you feel like you are trying to get out of a toxic situation and you want somebody to celebrate or help sympathize and support you when something bad happens, feel free to reach out. I'm always willing to give you that help if you're going to get out of the situation. Because, excuse me. All right. The biggest thing is they talk about how to avoid look at the red flags so you don't get into the situation. They talk about they have all these shelters and services and things that help you get out. But anybody who's been in the situation knows you go back time and time. And they tell you, they say that it takes about 7 times to finally break free from a toxic relationship. The problem is they're not giving us the information that we really need to get out. And they can, and I'm not saying anything is wrong with all of the services that they give to domestic violence. What I'm stating here is that therapy has one way of dealing with things. But most of those therapists have probably never been in the shoes of the DV victim. So you can't really give them advice. I don't care how much technology we have, how much education that we have in this world. Unless you've walked in that victim's shoes, you have no idea how to tell them to get out. Because every situation is slightly different. But I know for a fact, because anybody who knows me from my childhood or my younger years can attest to exactly what I'm telling you. I dated some shady people. And it was love bombing, and I fell for it. And I share this stuff with you all the time. But the thing is I have been there. And I know the one way to do it is you've got to start focusing on you and not them. While you are in their presence, that's very, very difficult to do. So while you are in their presence, I want you to reach out. Don't tell me you're in an abusive relationship. You don't have to tell me anything. You don't even tell me anything about that person that you're in a toxic relationship with. I want you to reach out to me so you were on your way to work and something horrible happened and it kind of shocked you. And you usually would reach out to your significant other to share it with them in hopes that they would talk you through it so you wouldn't feel so shocked. And they don't. Come on. Go ahead. Share it down below. Give me a holler. Get a hold of me any way you need to. I'll help you get through that shock. And if you have something exciting happen, even if it's a small exciting thing, and I'm going to share an small exciting thing with me here in a minute so I can give you an example. But even if whatever something good happens to you and you want to share it with them, don't. Go ahead and put that good here. Reach out to me with it and I will respond. And the reason that I would like you to do it through the posts, through the comments, is because then there might be other people that are out in the world that are in toxic relationships, either as bad as yours or worse, or maybe not as bad. But by seeing us interact and watching you grow in the comments, and we're not even talking about your significant other, is going to possibly be a lifesaver for somebody else who's watching these. So that's why I'd really like you to reach out in the comments. If you don't, you can contact me. I'll leave you my email and it's my spare cell phone number. And you can text me or call me or whatever you need to do. Just to share, and it has nothing to do with your significant other. This is your life. What we're going to do is teach you how to refocus on your life. So when something shocking happens to you and you don't know how to handle it and you're overwhelmed and you're feeling all that anxiety and you're like, I just got to share it with somebody because I got to get rid of it, do not reach out to him. Reach out to me. prefer it in the comments so we can help more. But if you're not comfortable with that, I give you other ways to do it, because we're going to get you beyond this. And when something good happens, reach out too. And here's a good little, and I'm going to show you how little the excitement, the good thing does not have to be huge. The littlest things. Start focusing on the little things and the excitement, the good and the little things, and the rest will just come falling into place. So I'm going to help you get here, and how we're going to do this. The good thing for me is, so I got a car, my other car, my piece of crap that I had been dealing with for a little over a year, ended up with a blown head gasket. So not worth fixing it. It was a 2000 Daewoo. Definitely not worth fixing it. So I then got a new it's new to me, 2015 Chevy Sonic. And it's a very nice car, in excellent condition. And when I bought it, because we didn't know how many miles to the gallon. And I know that it tells, I know that they give you the averages if you look it up online, but those aren't accurate. And I know that for a fact from doing DoorDash for 6 years. So I started out, when I bought the car, I zeroed it out, made it so there was nothing. I cleared it out so it was at 0. And I watched it slowly climb up, and it hit 32. And then it hit 31, and then 31.2, and it just kept going up, and I was like getting excited. Every 0.1 that it would go up, I would get excited. I'd be like, yes. And then it would hit 33, and I'm like, yes, we hit 33. Can we hit 34? And then I'd start going up to 34. We have hit 34, and I am now at, I thought I would only get to like 34, 34.1. I am now at 34.5 and 6, going back and forth between the two. So we're now shooting for 35. It's just something I do for fun while I'm out doing delivery. But the point that I'm sharing this story with you is because those little things are going to help you get past all of this. So I want you to reach out, preferably in the comments, so other people can see it that might need help and see your growth and my growth, and they'll want to reach out so we can help get them out of there too. Because they address leaving a specific way because of laws. I know how to help you get out while you're stuck and keep moving forward. You're going to get out eventually. And they're not going to know. They're not going to know. And if you have one that you know is physically abusive, feel free to reach out on the email or text me or call me. Don't put that down. If he's that bad, don't put that down in the comments. And I'm going to share with you. So there have, in my toxic relationships, every single one of them, there came a point where physicalness got involved. In all of them, the toxic relationships I've been into did hit the point where they got physical with me. The difference is I got physical back. And here's why I did it. Now, I do not recommend that women do this. The reason I did it was because of something my mother told me when I was a child. When I was about 12 or 13, my mother said to me, why she said this to me, I don't remember. But I remember her telling me one time, oh, it wasn't that young. I was older. There's a woman named Leslie that was older than all of us teenagers, but she hung out down by the Burger King, and she was threatening me. So, and we both, because she was threatening me inside Burger King, they kicked us both out. Well, I ran to the payphone first, and I told them I was calling the cops, but I didn't. I called my mom, and I told her where I was at. It was only a few blocks from where we lived. My mother was there in 2 minutes flat. I was shocked. She threw this woman's legs off the bench she was sitting on and said, you want to come after somebody? Let's go. And my mother went after. There was no physical fight. This Leslie apologized profusely and then left. And I left with my mom. That right after that, my mother said to me, I'm going to tell you one thing, and I want you to never forget this. She goes, you never have to fight another human being physically. All you have to do is make them think you're crazier than they are. Because crazy people do not want to deal with anybody that's crazier than them because they know who they are. And I remember her saying this, but it didn't quite click until I got a little older. So with that in mind, her putting this in my head, the first toxic relationship, it was when I was in my 20s. My children were little. We had a fight. He pushed me, and he pushed me hard enough that I hit the wall and slid down the wall. And the minute that I got my ass back up there, I went right at him, screaming and hollering, "Don't you fucking ever touch me again, motherfucker, because the police will be here and I will have beaten you if necessary." And I went right back at him and pushed him like he did me. Never touched me again after that. I'm sure he wanted to, but he never did. Because he wasn't sure. Wait a minute, this woman's not scared of me? And the second one, the other toxic one, there was a few instances with him. He liked to put his fist in the wall near me or whatever and make me be scared, but I wasn't. And then the third one, this is the story that kind of opened my eyes, because I really, before it was more just pushing, nobody actually ever hit me or choked me or done anything else. So it didn't register in my brain until this actual one took place. I was living with him and it was a small 2-bedroom house, and we had gotten in a fight the night before. There have been other times when I drank too with him, but he drank so much and mixed it so strong, the drunker he got, that he would get to this point of being a totally different human being. He was very cruel and mean and nasty, and some of my friends and family had to witness him acting a fool, and it was embarrassing. But this one instance is what made me know, fuck, I got to figure out how to get the hell out of here. That one instance was how I knew, okay, I've never had a situation that got physical like this. I got to get the fuck out. But how do I do it? So I started planning. What happened in that scenario? So he would get too drunk and mean. So I would just go lock myself in the spare bedroom with a little boombox and my phones and my chargers, and throw a little music on so I didn't have to listen to him if he was yelling and hollering outside the door. I just turn on some tunes, even if it was a little loud, just so it could drown him out. And I'd go to sleep. And eventually, at some point, I would hear him go back into the bedroom and calm down. So at that point, I could turn my radio down and go to sleep and sleep for the night. Well, this one night, I went into that spare room. And I had gotten my phone and my chargers all set up on the little chair that was in the corner, and I was going back out. I don't remember why the boombox was not in the bedroom. It should have been. I may have moved it for cleaning or something else. But the boombox was in the living room. So I went back out, and as I was getting the boombox, he comes out and he's like following me, screaming and hollering. So I got in the bedroom and I quickly slammed the door and I locked the door. And I was over plugging in the the boombox, just totally like ignoring him. The door's locked. I'm safe where I'm at. I'm gonna turn the boombox on and I'm just gonna go to bed. He'll cool down and go to sleep. And next thing I know, the fucking bedroom door, frame and all, was fucking busted in. And I turned and looked at him in total shock. He came at me and grabbed me to push me into the wall. And the minute he went to grab me, I took my mouth and I bit him here as hard as I could. I actually had flesh in my teeth. It was disgusting. but I had to do it because he was not going to kill me that night. And the minute I did it, he backed off and he was like, "What the fuck, you crazy fucking bitch?" And so I ended up going to the bedroom, locking the door, and he slept out on the couch that night. So the next day, that was the first time that I realized, that was the first time that a physical altercation actually terrified me that I could lose my life. And it was a huge wake-up call for me. And that's when I started planning how I got to get the fuck out of here. And I left there a few times, but I always went back. I couldn't figure out why. And so I just kept going through what I had to go through, and I took extensive journaling. I took extensive notes and journaling during that time, and how I felt and what was going on and why this and why that. And all of a sudden I started to see. I saw the pattern and I saw exactly what was going on. And once I found that out was when I stopped sharing my good and my bad with that person. And I started putting distance between us emotionally so I could leave and never come back. And I successfully did it. But the next day, the funny part about this story is the next day he had to go buy a new door frame because he busted the whole thing down. And I told him when we got up in the morning, and he's sober, because when he was sober, he was a jerk in many ways, but he wasn't. When he was sober, he was tolerable. We actually got along pretty well when he was sober. So the next day he goes out and gets the door in the door frame, and he's trying to put the new one in, and he's bitching and moaning, cussing and swearing, and I'm just sitting on the couch watching TV, minding my business. And I can hear this go on because the bedroom door was like right there next to the living room. And he's cussing and swearing. And he'd come around the corner every so often and he would say to me, "Well, are you going to help me?" And I'd say, "Nope." And he'd be like, "What?" I'm like, "If you want help, call your dad or your brother." Then he looks at me and goes, "Why? I can't." I said, "Why can't you call them?" "Because then you have to explain to your father or your brother what the hell happened and why this door is broken. That's why you ain't calling anybody for help." I said, "And I'm not going to help you. You made the mess. You don't want other people to know. Fix the damn door yourself." And I went back to whatever I was doing. It took him all day. The whole day to put that door in by himself. He got it in. But it took him all damn day. But that was the actual time. I had never had the other times when it was physical, I was never afraid. That was the first time that I had been in a situation with a significant other that I actually was so terrified and so afraid that he might kill me right then and there in that moment. And at that point was when I knew I have to figure out how to get away from this. And I kept coming back. And I kept telling myself, don't feel ashamed that you're coming back. You haven't learned what you need to learn so you can get the hell out of here. Because once I get out of here, this is what I said to myself back then. Once I get out of here, I'm going to be able to show other women how to get out of here too. So they can be safer. So, I shared that story with you to let you know what the trajectory was to start pushing me into really, really getting out of repeating that pattern. But don't feel sad. It's kind of a funny story now. Not the abuse part, but the whole next day he couldn't ask for help. And I refused to help him. He couldn't get anybody else to help him because then he'd have to explain why he had to replace the spare bedroom door, frame and all. That was hysterical. It was It was the man upstairs saying, he scared the fuck out of you last night, so I'm gonna allow you to sit here and watch him be tortured, paying the price for the choices he made, his consequences. And I got to sit all day and watch his consequences. And all I thought to myself was, damn, I gotta get the fuck out of here. I talked to him in my head all the time. After that happened, I was constantly talking to God. I don't know how I'm going to do this. I got to get the hell out of here. And I'd get enough strength and I'd leave. But I would always go back. I'd leave and he'd leave me alone for a while, and then he'd reach out. And I would always go back. Always. And I couldn't figure it out. And then I slowly did. I refocused on me, and he became just something that was there. And the more I was comfortable with living this way, I was focused on me and what I needed to do. And it was the end of our relationship. He knew it. He knew it. I knew it. Because I was just done. I was done playing the games, and I just didn't have anything to do with him. And slowly but surely, things came to a head with my arrest and him lying, but that's okay. Made a great friend while I spent 36 and a half hours in jail, but and all I can say is it's taken me. That's 2020 is why I stopped dating. I had to heal me. I had to make myself whole. I already loved myself. I already lived in my authenticity as much as I possibly could, but there were broken parts in me that if I didn't fix, I was going to keep attracting this, and I didn't want to. And so I talk to God all the time. Show me what I need to know. Because I was terrified. How am I going to know if I'm in that situation? I'll tell you how that works too. But let's get you to the point where you want to get out. But I talk to him all the time. He tells you, he helped me get where I need to go. So I'm going to help you get where you need to go. And I'll just leave that there for you. Feel free to reach out, though. Feel free to reach out. I really want to help you get where you need to go. And if nobody reaches out, like into the comments or anything, because they're too afraid, do not sit on the other side of this screen and think that I am judging you in any way, shape, or form. The fact that you are sitting on the other side of the screen and even watching this whole video tells me that you're looking for a way out. You don't have to interact with me or anybody else if you don't want. Just keep watching the videos, and I'm going to show you exactly how to get out. I'm speaking to you, and you will know who you are when you see this video. Because I'm going to show you a way out of that fear. And the more I can share this with, the greater world we're going to have. Anyways, guys, I know, a little deep, right? Anyways, guys, have a good night. Love you. Bye.